Okay, cool. So can you start off by introducing yourself to our site visitors at Pop Culture Madness?
Yeah, my name's Mike Muir from Suicidal Tendencies.
Awesome. So how happy are you to be part of this giant Orion Music and More festival this year?
I tend to try to be a happy person. I think a lot of people, my dad said, you look around, you'll find plenty of reasons to be upset. So you either do something about it or you look for reasons to be happy. And so it's all cool, you know what I mean? It's all good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy wherever I'm at. Try to be. It's better than the alternative, so.
Absolutely. That is like a good attitude to have. So, how do you feel about the diversity of these like big festivals? We're starting to see more and more of that these days.
In Europe, it's very common. So, you go there and they'll have some crazy bills. And like when we play in France, we like do some really crazy things and stuff. And so you forget about it till other people commented on it, But in the States, it's more kind of very genre specific. And over in Europe, I think it works a little bit better because that's just the norm and it's been happening so long. Here, it's a little more tricky, but it's always good to be in part do something that's different than doing the same thing. Some people like to wake up and have pizza for breakfast every morning and lunch and dinner, but I'm not one of those kind of people, so it's always cool to be involved with different things.
Oh, absolutely. I think it definitely opens people's eyes to a lot of bands that they probably wouldn't normally listen to, and maybe they'll become a fan. You never know.
Yeah, well, definitely. In the especially like the European festivals, there's a lot of people that are there for like us. They've heard the name, they've never seen the band, so it gives them a chance to see it. And a lot of times people have opinions of things based on the name or this or that, and then when they actually see the band, then you're able to win them over and be able to showcase your differences between the other bands and stuff, and that's a great opportunity.
Oh, yeah, I think Metallica said it in their press conference yesterday. They were trying to bring that European feel of a festival over here with Orion this year. So far, it looks like they've succeeded.
Yeah. No, I just got here, but yeah, it's all cool.
So is there anybody you're looking forward to catching their set today?
I'm doing press right before we go, so that's my day, and then after that's done, I got a couple more things to do, and then I get to see Robert and Metallica, so that's my day.
That's awesome. So what is on the horizon for Suicidal Tendencies? Is there any new material in the works? I know that's been rumored for quite a while.
Yeah, actually, we're going to put out at the end of the year, we're putting out our first record. It's been 13 years or so, and for us, I think there's a lot of things that go into that. One, I had a couple back surgeries, and two, basically, one of the things we realized a long time ago, next year will be the 30th anniversary of our first record, and I think that with a lot of music and stuff, people try to put something out that they think is popular at the time. And when we did our first record, even my best friend said, that's not music, people won't like it. And I said, well, I really don't care if people like it or not. It's just I like it, and that's all that matters. And we realized for the music that we do is like we're not trying to fit into a genre or a time frame where music sounds dated and people want to go back to a time period, or it reminds them of certain period of their life. We want to do something that with like a song like Institutionalized, that kids, when they hear it the first time, they'll do a thing, they go, hey, what's that new song? Who does that new song? And people are like, no, that's an old song. No, it's a new song. It's got about the Pepsi. And to them, it sounds completely new and stuff. And so I think that's a really good thing. We've done so many different type things and different festivals and different events and stuff that, that you sit there and you realize that people are, they're looking for something that's different, And my dad said the best way to be different, be better, is to be different. I mean, best way to be different is to be better, and that's what we try to do, is not try to fit in that type of situation. So I think a lot of people realize they're going to look, there's going to be a lot of reasons why people are going to say, wow, their drummer's huge, wow, they're, they don't look like a metal band, they don't look like a punk band, they don't look like this and that, but when it comes to the music, they'll go like, wow, that's cool.
Well, I think you guys are definitely one of the true pioneers of going outside the box of what was necessarily going to be popular, what was necessarily going to catch on. How important is it for you to keep that diversity in your music?
I think that's very important, because we've learned from it that, when our first record came out, the punk magazine said we sucked, we were metal. The metal one said we sucked, we were punk, and you look at what we were doing and what people are doing now, and you go back in the early 80s, they either had, wearing spandex and makeup and dudes that were dressed like chicks, or completely different looks. And now It's changed a lot, and I think that music should be something honest. You know, my brother was a pro skateboarder from, you know, Dogtown Skates and the Z-Boys. They're the first people that skated in pools, emptied them out, and did that. You know, now you see it in commercials, and like my son, my 8-year-old son, is like, Uncle Jimmy, blah, blah, blah. And he talks about things. I go, you know, he's the first one that did that. People didn't do that before, and it was kind of like the Wright brothers. You see the old footage when they first were going to fly, people were there, some to see history, some to laugh at them trying to be birds. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing when they skated in a pool. You know, it's like, you don't do that. And they're, you know, they've got the best skaters, and one by one, as people fell, they said it's not possible. They, you know, they learned from what they did, and now it's to the point you see a Wheaties commercial on their skateboarding and stuff. So I think the point is too many people sit there and try to reproduce what they think is popular. Right? It's like the American Idol thing or whatever, and they copy, you know, just with their, you know, like Facebook or MySpace, you know, they got their logo, it's got that style of writing, they got their picture, their poses, and they got no music, you know what I mean? And so it's like two people are trying to fit too much into a certain thing rather than go, you know what, that's cool, whatever, but let's get in the kitchen, let's see what we can come up with and experiment. And to me, like, the best chefs are people that don't follow the recipe. They go out and try things. You have a few times that you may come up with things that don't taste good, but you learn from it, you know what I mean? You say, okay, that didn't work, you try a little bit different, you refine it. So that's what we try to do.
So what type of direction do you plan to take with the new material? Is there any clues you can give us with that?
Well, it's like in England, it's funny, we got this love-hate relationship, and every record we did, they said sucked, and then when we did our next record, they said the record before was great, and now we put out this piece of crap. And to me, I always get a chuckle out of that, and I think that music is something that too many times there's a lot of bands that when they get a new record out, you hear it, you almost can sing along. And some people say that's good, you know, make it simple and make it easy for the people. People aren't smart. And I go, well, there's a reason why people aren't smart. Is because just in music, life, politics, or force-fed the simplest thing, you know, put a little extra sugar on it. And that's not where we're at. I think it's more important that you know, something happens where people go, you know, I was listening to that record, and 10 years later, you know, I was listening to it, and I was like, wow, I got a totally different meaning, and I totally heard it a different way. And I think that's way more important than just putting something off. Yeah! You know, it should challenge a little bit. And I think there'll be some stuff, there'll be a lot of people when they hear it, they'll say they won't like it, and I think a lot of people 10, 15, 20 years from now, they're going to go, that's a fucking amazing record. And that's more important to me.
Oh, absolutely. I've always heard
it's huge at a time, you know?
Unfortunately, that's true. I've always heard a lesson, like they say, listen to an album 3 times. 3 times in a row. If you still hate it after 3 times, you're probably always going to hate it. You like it, you give it a chance to work.
Well, I think a lot of times, too, when people are judging things, they're judging themselves, so to speak, you know what I mean? And, you know, I've had, like, over the years, so many people that have done what I call apologies, where, you know, you're my best friend, you know, one of the records said, dude, I don't like it. I don't like it. And then later on said, dude, that's my favorite record. And I was like, you're listening to what they expect or what they want. And when things are different, sometimes it makes them uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's much easier to say, yeah, tune it up, dude, yeah, get another beer, yeah. And when something you have to sit there and you have to kind of like, whoa, what's going on, you know? And there's like times when people try to be different just to be different. That's the only thing they got going. And so we'll just do something weird or that. But there's a point when the people get uncomfortable because they realize that you're not doing music for them to like. And that's not the motivation. And that makes them feel like they don't have a bond, you know? It's like some people, it's like, dude, let's get a beer. I don't drink. They don't know what to say, you know what I mean? Because if you can't party, you can't drink and say stupid shit, there's no conversation. And to me, that's one of the problems with the world, you know?
So how much new material do you have written? I'm sure you've collected quite a bit over the years.
Well, we got all kinds of stuff, and I think the one thing that when I was young, it's like, I love music, but most music I hear I hate. And I think there was one time I heard the song and I was like, oh, wow, I thought it was great. My friend came over and goes, what is that? That sucks. And I realized I don't care if someone doesn't like it. It's like food. If you like a food and someone goes, dude, that's nasty, I'm allergic to it. Sorry you're allergic to it, but I like it. I'm not going to go, oh, it's terrible? Okay, I'll spit it out. And so we, like so many people nowadays, we have our own studio and we always go in there and write things. And sometimes there'll be conversations or something. I'll go out, check this out and play something. People, what the fuck is that? I'm like, dude, that's fucking insane. I go, yeah. And they go, when are you going to put it out? Probably never. But I think that's a good thing though too. I think it's a good thing because in the days when music sold, everybody's like, you got to do a record. It's been a year and a half. Why's it been? You got to do another record, and you go and do a record because of a time thing and stuff. And on the other side of it, when music doesn't sell and stuff, then you sit there and you go, you know what? You get back to that pure point of do I love it or what, kind of thing, and you get a little selfish. It's kind of like my kids. Love my kids, but I don't want to showcase them all over the place. I'm not like, here's my kid, look at what he did, look, yeah, and that's why I don't have Facebook. My life is my life. I'm not a constant Christmas card. Today we went to blah blah. So sorry, people.
So you feel like we're being a bit inundated with all the social media and all that stuff.
Well, as our friend Lorenzo said, he goes, sometimes there's just too much technology and people just don't know how to use it. So, there's a lot of great things when used properly and stuff. And, I live in Australia a lot, so it's great to be able to break down the divisions and stuff. But a lot of times they create other ones and stuff, and, I look at my dad and the way he did things and the way he did things the right way. And it kind of like, to me, I try to, when something works, you try to follow it. And when it doesn't work, I just try to stay away from it. And, so I think there's certain things that are good and certain things that aren't necessary.
I can understand that. So it's got to be refreshing to you to be able to work with like your own studio, your own label, like all that type of stuff. It's obviously allows more creative freedom.
Well, it's necessary because a lot of people would say I'm impossible to work with. I would probably say that too. So, but I'm not temperamental though. That's the difference. I just, my dad said in life when I was young, he said, you know what, you'll never be happy until you learn how to say no. And when my dad said no, he wouldn't yell and scream. He'd say no. Because if you need to discuss it, I'll discuss it. But I know why I'm saying it. There's a reason, and it's not going to change. So, if you have a problem with it, then you got a problem with it. You know what I mean? That is. And you see the guys on the street corner. I'll fucking kill you, and you laugh. And there's a person who walks up in your ear and goes, "You're fucking dead," and you're like, "Oh shit," because they mean it. And that's the thing, when you say something, you mean it, and that's the whole point. It's like when my dad, people say, "Oh, dude, we got this great opportunity. Oh, it's amazing, blah, blah, you can do this and this and that." I'm like, nah. And they're like, why not? Millions of people would love it. I said, well, let the millions of people that love it do it and have that opportunity. It's not something that's really important to me. So people don't understand it. But I in the past, a lot of people came up and they go, it actually is refreshing because you just say what you believe and what you think is right and for the right reasons, and you can't, argue with that. And I wish people were more like that, just say no, simple.
It's simple concept. Sometimes it's really hard for people.
I don't understand that, but I learned I was young, and I'm very thankful for that because I wouldn't be here right now. Not that this is important, but I wouldn't be here in life where I want to be. I'd be a very unhappy person,
So how does it feel for you to be looked at as an influence on a lot of younger bands? Like, what is that like for you from an artist perspective?
You know what? It's funny because years ago, one of my favorite bands was the Sex Pistols, and it used to be all these people say, oh, they were influenced by the Sex Pistols, and I listen to music and I go like, you know what? I don't see it at all. And I would say that we're influenced. The influence that I got was that basically it's like it doesn't matter how you look. You don't have to dress up to go to the things, and that's what we got from where we were managed. You got the little pictures of us long before we were in music. We were little kids wearing the bandanas, the Pendletons, all that kind of stuff. And that's just the way we dressed and stuff. We didn't change the dress. And when we started doing music, people say, you guys are all right, but you'll never do anything looking like that. And I'm like, wait a second, you look like you've been spending 2 hours in the bathroom longer than your girlfriend, and and dressing up and putting on all this stuff, and you're telling me that I can't do it, this way. And so I for me it was like, just do it, let the music do the talking, and that type of situation. And I think that's important. I think too many people, like I said, they create this facade. And you go to Universal Studios and it's amazing. They'll take you on the tour. There you're in Paris. You drive. There you're in New York. There you're here. There you're there. But if you go on the other side, there's just 2x4s holding it up, It works for what's happening, but it's not functional. And I think that's the way a lot of people live their lives, and that's the way they do music. And I tell them, my dad said the thing to me, he goes, music, it should be a small part of your life, you know what I mean? But it should be a big part to hopefully motivate you or to help you have a better life if you do it properly. And too many people use it as an escape for the wrong reasons. And so for me, I see people and it's like, dude, and basically what they're saying is they go, I want to play in front of thousands of people, tell people what to do, be an asshole and get away with it. And I go, you're talking to the wrong person. But I tell you what, on the streets, you try to do that, you get your ass beat. You know what I mean? So you should think about that. You know what I mean? And it's like we got a new guitar player, and it's a whole different thing where he's just a guy that's played guitar 8 hours every day, and he just loves playing. And it's like you sit there and you go, that's what it should be. That background where instead of like just like something, there's an entitlement type thing, or I want this, or I want people like it, just get out there and go, dude, fucking, I'm so lucky to be able to do this, and that's infectious,
It can definitely become apparent. Like people start to see through it.
Well,
artists want to believe it.
It's like Johnny Rod from the Sex Pistols said. He goes, you know what? There's so many of these fucking miserable rock stars. Fucking quit. You know what I mean? And that's what we did for a while, because it's like I go, dude, I don't want to be miserable, And I'm miserable when I'm around a lot of people that I don't want to be around and stuff. And that's the point. There's all these people all fucking complaining, bitching, whining. Don't fucking do it. Do something else. You know what I mean? And for the people, my dad always said, it's like it's not a religioso, a Latin word, is a way of life. And my dad said, when you see someone that does something you don't like it, that's a sin. That's moral. And there's a lot of people that say, I would never do this, I'd never do that. And musically, if I do that, but they get in that position and then they become the total opposite and stuff, And so it's like you have to remember what you say is right and what's wrong and stand by that. And only change that if in case you become more intelligent and you realize it's like, oh, wow, I didn't see all the sides or this or that. But to try to get in a position and change and go, oh, well, but that's different now. That's another problem of the world.
Absolutely. It definitely sounds like...
There's not many rock stars nowadays. There's a lot of people that think they are. They think they are.
Well, I mean, it certainly seems like your father has been a true wealth of wisdom for you over the years. What has kept you going?
I think one of the things that we decided is going, you know what, this isn't, and it's funny, the first interview we did with Flipside of Punk Magazine, we said the one thing we're going to make sure is it never becomes a job. And it becomes difficult because at times when you become more successful, quote unquote, then there's more things and more people, oh, you need to do this, oh, you got to do that, you got to do that. It's like, it got to be a point where you just get lost. And if you're touring 10 months out of the year, you're lost. You definitely are. And you can't sit there and go, hey, you know what? You can't say this is a great opportunity to be here today because you're going, I'm just trying to get through this a little bit. And so for us, whatever we do, we say beforehand, we go, here's a situation, what do you think about this, blah, blah, blah. And we all go, wow, that'll be really cool to do and stuff. So, lately we're doing, we just played in Brazil. It was a festival, which they closed down Sao Paulo and stuff, and a crazy thing and stuff. And they got, where we were at, there's so many people, they had to put the monitors, because they got these TV monitors all around, because there's stages all around, and they had to put Suicidal on it. So there's people 4 blocks away slamming, just insane. And people were just freaking. The festival was freaking because they do this every year. And, barricades broke down and stuff, and we're going, oh shit, this is going to be crazy. But the people that were there, when they rushed on stage, they got off and stuff, and it wasn't like, I was going, this is going to be really bad. And a couple times the people from the city were freaking. They go, you got to stop it. And the guy that was with us from Argentina said, he goes, dude, I can't stop this because there'll be a riot. He goes, it's a riot. He goes, no, this isn't a riot. They're having a good time. There's no one getting hurt, this and that. And 3 times they said, he goes, oh, and they goes, tell Mike to tell him to calm down. He goes, if Mike tells him to calm down, it's going to get more. But it was scary. At the end afterwards, they were so relieved, but they said that was the best thing that ever happened. Will you do it in Rio next year? So it's a lot of times people, they don't quite know, but it's cool. And you look back at it and you go, you know what, that was one of my best experiences and stuff, And that's great when you can sit there and go, one of your most recent things is one of your best experiences, and, be able to do a lot of different things. So that's where we have an advantage, I think, that's really cool.
That's awesome. Well, it's nice to know your words can have that kind of effect, too. Don't tell them to do something.
I don't speak Portuguese, and
so were you able to see all the chaos going on other than monikers?
No, it's when you do the first song and the barricade goes down and there's 50,000 people there. You're kind of going like, wow, this could be really scary, And it's one of those ones where here it's totally different, but there it looked like it could have been Venice. There was all the dudes with the bandanas, the suicidal hats. It was, it looked probably very intimidating for a lot of people. And but the thing is, those people, they were just there. They love the band. And then you could see a lot of the people that were there because of the event that happens every year. And you see like on the postings on YouTube where they're like, never seen us before this and that. They're looking at everybody going, wow, they having a great time. They're like, yeah, don't know the song, but they're like, yeah. So it was a great thing.
That's awesome. So what's next on the immediate horizon after Orion here?
We go to Europe next week and do the festival things and stuff. So do that for a month, and then we come back and we do like a hardcore festival in Philly. Then we do 2 metal festivals in Canada in August, the week after we get back, and then we go out in the fall. We go back to South America. Go to back to South America because we only play Brazil, and then do the States in the end of the fall.
Awesome. So you're doing that thing at the Electric Factory in Philly, right? Yeah, cool. That's our home base.
Yeah, no, we're looking.
Should be awesome.
Yeah, that's cool, because that's a completely different thing. There's a lot of things. Like I said, in France, we played a show where we were the only band that, it was acoustic festival. We were the only band that had amps. And you looked there and it looked like French hippies dressed. And then we did shows where we were the only rock, heavy band and stuff, and done all kinds of crazy things like that. And it's cool to do that. You drive up and you go, hey, this is not our typical crowd, and but it's good. You go from the one to do punk rock to the metal to a skate thing to a motocross thing to all that, and so it's fun. It's cool, and you meet a lot of really cool people. And that's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely got to keep it interesting for you. I mean, no one's going to want to play the same show all the time.
Yeah. Well, when you have a sea of, 20,000 people all wearing black and look exactly the same every night, I don't think it'd be very much fun and stuff. So it's cool.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me. I appreciate it. Is there any comments you'd like to share with our website audience?
Me, I'm very shy and I don't say much, so I put under the pressure. Just thank you. Cool.